This is a very dense forest in the block game world, so I decided to call it Dark Forest. And there are only a few rides here, but a couple of very interesting ones. This is a mine train coaster, and while, yes, I do have one over here, this is a Vekoma mine train, which is a more modern one. This is like one from the 70s. It's called Dark Forest Haunted Train. And possibly my favorite part about this is, of all things, the station. The station is rectangular, but also really nice. It has lots of layers to it, as stations should. I should make the forest more dense in certain areas. This area could definitely use a flat ride. And this is a very nice wing coaster called Devil's Bird, with a whole bunch of inversions, and you go through trees right here. Think you're going to slam into them, and lots of different types of terrain. I like this coaster right here. It was very popular when it was first built. So there's this path that could take you from Dark Forest to the desert area, but in the middle, you get to this. This is one of my favorite takes on the bobsled coaster of mine. I call it Downhill Rush. I painted it red because, okay, you guys seen those Kevin Hobbs comics, right? And Kelvin often goes down a hill in his wagon with Hobbs. That's kind of funny, so I tried to reenact it here using bobsled trains. And it's my first take on the 6-seater bobsled trains rather than the 2-seater. Oh, I thought that one stopped at a block break, but actually the screen froze. I especially like these two ending helixes over here. There's also a go-kart track underneath it that starts over here. With Open RCT2, there are new curves that you can add to the go-karts, which is fun. But it kind of looks messy with the bobsled here, so in the future I might get rid of it, unfortunately. I'll bring it back in another Triple J park if I can, but that way there's more room for the go-karts to shine, and something else could appear here. This part of the park, since it's by the end of the peninsula, I call it Endless Seas. You can also get on the monorail right here, a pretty nice monorail station. And next to it is the park's Strata Coaster. I call it Mission Sky just because I wanted to have some kind of name that starts with mission in it. I thought that would be kind of cool. And since it goes to the sky, I call it Mission Sky Way. So it goes up very high, and then it has the world's highest inversion right here. And then a little bit of an airtime hill before you're done. It was expensive, even considering that I have all this built, but it was worth it. If I were to demolish it, I'll get 26,000. And that's after you open it. As soon as you press open for the first time, it depreciates a lot in value. So it's actually like 25% more than that. Let me take a look at cutaway views so you can see more of the path. There you go. So much path, but it's a very pretty area, and I love this plaza here. I knew a lot of guests would be coming this way, so I built this little park right here. You can buy pizza, lemonade, use the bank machine, use the bathroom.
Change underwear, change.
Nice rock work, pretty good. And this area is bigger just because in real life a pendulum ride would be bigger than that, but it looks kind of weird, but maybe someday OpenRCT2 will add some more rides. But this is the Swing Gang, the world's tallest pendulum ride. And here we have a log flume. I actually forgot what I called it. Canoe Craziness. I guess it's somewhat of a canoe. It's very nice, and you go through all these bends and a big drop right here. And I like the station that Mission Skyway goes through like that. There's an extra layer with a couple of props over here that you can see from the coaster if you look quickly. Very cool. In some areas, this area could look a little bit messy. When I was making this, I was kind of like hurrying up because I wanted the park to be done. Eventually, though, I'll add some more different types of terrains. What do I call it? Paradise Speedway. Aha. But as of now, it still looks pretty good. This right here is one of my favorite takes on the B&M Flying Coaster. I made a really good pencil loop right here, which is only possible with the tools given in OpenRCT2, and made it orange just to represent, I don't know, fire. And I love the name for it. It's called duck season. And there they go through the pretzel loop. Whee! Good exciting range too, and nice station. Too many trees maybe. Maybe a little bit more of it could be water, but pretty good as is. Oh, and another monorail station. And if you're using a boardwalk, this could be used as an alternate entrance to the park right here. And this right here is a project that I had in mind since 2016. That year, I did a really good take on Bumbly Bazaar, and I thought, you know what, who builds a double four-list coaster? Does that even exist? I don't think it did. And it never has. And I thought, wouldn't it be cool to have a double four-list coaster? And so I built one, but unfortunately that park died with the hard drive. It will never appear again, I'm afraid. Then I built one in 2019 when I did Bumbly Bazaar again, only to not like it after a while, so I brought it back 5 years later in this park with a lot more space. I thought the biggest park I've ever done deserves a coaster of this size. It's a bit too big for Bumbly Bazaar. I did do my own take on Bumbly Bazaar recently, though. Link in the description if you want to check that out, as well as other parks of mine. And this double four-list coaster is so cool. I named it Atlantic Rescue because I mentioned this island is in the Atlantic off the coast of Maryland, where I live, I guess. And sort of like a play on Arctic Rescue, which is at one of the SeaWorld parks. And I looked at the intensity range of each one, 9.1 and 9.45. The least intense one I called Surface, and 2 I call Abyss, and painted it darker green / blue. Lots of inversions on this coaster. I don't know what this element would be called. Where you go up into a quarter loop, twist right side up, twist upside down again, then go down. Has that ever existed, this element? No clue, but regardless, this is an awesome coaster with interlocking corkscrews as well, and twists on top of the other track. Really nice machinery we got here. And here's the last segment of the park that we need to take a look at. It's called Lost Village. The second of the 2 villages in the block game world was over here. The other one being where Minetown is, right here. It's supposed to mock like the village that was on the map. This area, it's very heavily inspired by Assassin's Creed Syndicate. I just wanted to make like Industrial Revolution sort of British kind of place, and that's what I did. So what you have to do when you enter the area is you go through this factory right here, see all the pipes and things like that, and it looks like a roller coaster. And then you go in here into the queue line for an inverted impulse coaster. And one improvement I made over it is that I gradually made a transition to the vertical track rather than just go straight from level to vertical. It's called Chimney Danger because I guess these are chimneys? I guess the factory stuff isn't all the way over here, but I guess it's close enough. I guess the ride experience is up for it. If you're wondering how to get to this coaster, you go over here. This area will eventually be filled with something. You'll have to walk through town a bit to get to Factory Escape. I wanted to at first make it a custom launch coaster, but then I thought to add to like the sort of realism of it, I took my file that I used for Run Like a Mother Effer at George Carlin Land, which is a mirror image of the Pyramids Piscetti Bowl launch coaster, and then put it here. And this is an actual clone. You can find this at Joker's Jinx at Six Flags Great America.
You stupid!
Fight of Fear at King's Dominion and Island, as well as Poltergeist at Six Flags Fiesta Texas. What's cool about this one is that you go in and out of the factory building. It's like a factory escape. There's sort of like a mission in Assassin's Creed Syndicate where this ride is inspired from, where you go into the factory to save children from being child laborers in the factory. So that's sort of like a mock story that this ride has. This is going to be some kind of dark ride, but I haven't figured out what it would be called yet. A top spin called Leap of Faith. I wish I could have made it a dive coaster, but unfortunately we already have one of those. A Leap of Faith where you have to fall down into a bag of hay in like a cart from like several stories tall. That's hilarious. And this right here is probably my favorite shot of the entire thing. There are two different train stations over here. One of which is actually the Triple J Road and Coast Station 1, whereas the other station is in the desert area right here. And over here, I tried to model this after King's Cross Station in London, how it would look during the Assassin's Creed Syndicate time. Do you guys know a coaster called Orient Express at Worlds of Fun that hasn't existed in a while? I guess coasters named after famous trains aren't too out of the question, so I made this GCI called Flying Scotsman. It's pretty cool. You don't see much of the London part over here, but I guess since you're on the ride, then the ride is sort of the main appeal. You're too focused on the thrill to care about the theming yet. That is a pretty good accelerator rating. And as you saw earlier, I like how I made it like the switches after the station, or as Metro Speedrunners like I call it, the frog. Except here it's many frog. I mean, look at this. There's even a storage shed over here. And a really good twister segment. Here's where you line up, of course. A nice building over here. Derek said he could tell the resemblance from Assassin's Creed Syndicate. But wait, there's more. You can get in this queue line over here for a river rapids ride. Here's where it's the land sort of gets messy again. So I'll turn on cutaway view. I call it Unconquered River just because in Assassin's Creed Syndicate, when you haven't gone somewhere, it says Unconquered. Like, it said that with the River Thames. So I thought, that's somewhat of an exciting name. It implies that you haven't been there and a journey awaits. So that's what I built, and you also go through a nice little neighborhood right here with paths and houses and props all over the place. It's really awesome. And on top of it, as you can see, is a aero suspended coaster, one of my favorites of its kind that I built. You get into a lovely station right here. It was tough to build this station and make it look somewhat decent, but somehow I made it work. And that's how it looks inside. It's called Rope Launcher, which is based on one of my favorite missions in the game, where you have to go to various points on top of the Elizabeth Tower. It's not called Big Ben. Your character uses a rope to go from one tall tower to another. And that inspired this coaster right here. There's not much length to the mid-course brake run. Oh, wait, that's like a trim brake. That's the mid-course brake run. Yeah, it's not too thrilling, but it definitely works. And yeah, that's basically all you need to know about Triple J Paradise Island. Thank you for joining this journey with me, and I guess I'll end by telling you what are the future plans for this park. I already told you one of them, the possible removal of Downhill Rush and Minecart Expedition, but of course I'll definitely bring these concepts back to another park. I'm gonna redo some of the Roller Coaster Tycoon 1 parks yet soon, and I hope to bring back Minecart Expedition, one of them, using the wooden mouse right here. Minecars specifically, of course. There are other things to make this more like a resort type place. Over here, this is going to be a cabin area, like Cedar Point has cabins. You go rent out one of these cabins with friends, and I want to decorate a bit, maybe add a little pool. And this is a campground with its own swimming pool. You can also see people using the swimming pool right here. And just to add to the party environment, I add Rock Like a Dude from Roller Coaster Tycoon 3. I said in part 1, this is going to be a hotel. And I also need to add a little bit of decoration here and there. Oh, water park. This is going to be the Big Jungle Water Park. And there'll also be a entrance to the park right here, where you can arrive by boat, but I haven't really figured out yet how that's going to connect. In case you're wondering why this road is here, it's so you could get to the cabins. But I put palm trees so it wouldn't look totally disgusting. Ugh, roads. And there's another water park that's going to go over here themed to caves. And there are a couple of coaster concepts here that I want to expand as well. At first, I made the boardwalk go around the water park area, but then I realized there wasn't enough space, so I just made it go through here. But right now, it's storage for a couple of coaster concepts. It would be very difficult, but if I can, I'll figure out some kind of B&M Giga Coaster. I mean, this park has a Hyper and a Strata, but no Giga Coaster. That seems kind of weird. Although, considering Great Adventure, it's definitely not out of the question in real life, of course. Ooh, is that an RMC coaster? Why, yes it is. Eventually, I want to RMC Messiah. It does look really cool as is, although there are definitely parts that I will improve, such as getting rid of this crap right here. It should be one of my best RMC creations yet, as well as what I want to do with this junior coaster. Oh yeah, I wanted to make a Vekoma Junior Boomerang, although I don't have much room for it. Basically, in the kids area, I wanted to add one of like every kind of kids coaster that ever existed. Actually, there might be room for it when I move Minecart Expedition, so perfect. Oh, and I forgot to show that there's a little car right here for the kids too, traveling with style. There's also vintage cars right here. Maybe I'll add some other types of cars, like maybe one at in the seas and then one for Pirate Jungle. Maybe we'll see. We'll definitely see. And there's also single rail coasters right here. The RMC Raptor is definitely here for the thrill seekers, of course, but I thought maybe I could try my own version at the Skyline Piscetti Bowl dueling coasters like that were briefly at Six Flags, Fiesta Texas, and over Georgia, and they were moved almost immediately. That's really weird, but hopefully these are a little bit better. And yeah, that's my future plans for Triple J Paradise Island. I hope you enjoyed the tour, and look out for more Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 park tours in the future. Stay tuned for that and other amusement park content from me, Triple J 755. Ride on!